Hello everybody, hope you guys are enjoying your day. Today we're going to be looking at your severe weather threat for areas through the south central United States, through the southeast, and then up through the east coast with some severe weather coming on Easter weekend. And it's going to be a very potent severe weather outbreak over these areas through the south central United States and the southeast. We're really going to be going in depth into some of your CAPE values, your forecasted or your simulated radar, and we're going to be going through a lot of different parameters to kind of decode what's going to happen with this severe weather outbreak. Now, let's start off here with a very action-packed National Weather Service. We have some winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings through the northern plains as well as the Midwest there. Winter weather advisories in the purple, winter storm warnings in the pink. We have some wind advisories in that lightest shade of brown, and you see that through the plains as well there for Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Florida. That's mainly for your severe weather, as well there for New Mexico and Texas, and there for the Pacific Northwest, seeing some wind advisories. Now we have high wind watches for areas through the Great Lakes, as well there for southern New England, and then even stretching down there through all the way about Maryland or Delaware. And then we have a tornado watch actually in effect for areas into southern Oklahoma and central Texas, as well as some red flag warnings for New Jersey and Delaware, as well as southern Texas and eastern New Mexico, and we have some high wind warnings in place for the central parts of Kansas and Nebraska. So definitely a very, very action-packed National Weather Service here, and we have a lot to go over. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about your winter side of all this, because this one storm system is actually providing all this severe weather, and this is your big winter storm. And on the southern side of this, of course, you're going to start to get severe weather, especially now that it's April. You're really going to start to see the severe weather ramp up. So here is your day one probability or convective outlook from the National Weather Service, and this is for today. So you have a slight risk in effect in those in the yellow, and that's for Texas and Oklahoma. And then we have an enhanced risk there for central Texas and a little bit there of Oklahoma. You actually have a 10% chance of tornadoes anywhere in those yellows. And we even have a significant hatched region in that black hatched region. That's where you're looking at the chance of EF2 to EF5 tornadoes, or significant tornadoes. You have a 10% probability or greater of seeing those. 5% chance in the brown and 2% chance in the green. Even if you're in the 5% chance, that's still a very big tornado threat. Now, in terms of your wind damage threat, you have a 5% chance in the brown, and that extends all the way up through into Nebraska and Kansas, down through Oklahoma and into Texas and a little bit of Louisiana. And then we also have a 15% chance there in the yellow for Oklahoma and Texas, and a significant hatched region there for southern Texas, where you are looking at a 10% or greater probability for seeing a 65 knot wind gust or greater, and that would be right around 70 miles per hour. So definitely some very, very intense severe weather over areas through Texas and Oklahoma. Now, here's your hail threat, and we have a 5% chance in the brown, 15% chance in the yellow, and a 30% chance in the red. You don't see them pull out the 30% chance too much, so that's really indicating something as well. You don't really see that 10% chance of tornadoes get pulled out too much, so that's definitely something to keep your eye on. Now, we have a significant hatch region where you have a 10% or greater probability of 2-inch diameter hail or larger in these areas through the yellow and the red regions through central Texas and western Oklahoma. Now, let's start looking at your day two convective outlook, and this is going to be for tomorrow, which would be, of course, Easter Sunday. And you see we have a marginal risk there, and that's for much of the eastern United States until you hit about the Great Lakes and pretty much draw a straight line from where the Great Lakes start, and that's when your severe weather starts to cut off. But anywhere south of there, you're seeing some very, very potent severe weather, a slight risk in effect, and your Nashville tornado was in a slight risk. So even though it doesn't sound as threatening as maybe an enhanced or moderate risk, still pay attention if you are just in this slight risk. If you are in this enhanced risk or this moderate risk, which they don't pull out too often, this is our second moderate risk of the year. So definitely, it's a very big deal that they are pulling out this moderate risk. They actually had a moderate risk on day 3, which you don't see too much. The National Weather Service definitely thinks thinks this is going to be a big severe weather day if you do live within even in the slight enhanced or moderate risk, but especially in that moderate risk. Here's your tornado threat, and we have a 2% chance in that green, a 5% chance in the brown, 10% chance in that yellow, and a 15% chance in the red. You rarely see that 15% chance get pulled out, especially as we're still fairly early in that severe weather season. We're still in the beginning of April. We have a hatched region, significant hatched region there through the 10% and the 15% chance region, and that's where you have, again, that probability of seeing EF2 or EF5 to EF5 tornadoes within that area. Now, here's your wind threat, and you actually have a 45% chance there for northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, and western Tennessee there. We have 30% chance in that red, 15% chance in that yellow, and 5% chance in that brown. Even if you're in that 30% chance, you are going to have some pretty strong straight line winds with this severe weather outbreak. You are going to have a lot of supercells to develop, and really it's going to be a very, very active severe weather day. And here's your hail threat, and you see we have a 5% chance in the brown, 15% chance in the yellow, and a 30% chance, which again you don't see too often here, and that's through Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Alabama, as well as southern Tennessee. And then we have a significant hatched region there for some areas in the 15% chance, as well as the 30% chance, and that's where you have a probability of seeing 2-inch diameter hail or greater. Now let's start looking at your day 3 severe weather outlook, which isn't as impressive, but still we do have some potent severe weather through the East Coast, and this would be for Monday. And we are actually looking at a slight risk there, and that's for New Jersey and Pennsylvania southward along the East Coast all the way until you get to northern Florida, and enhanced risk there for North Carolina and South Carolina, the coastal regions there. And we have a 5% chance of severe weather through that brown region, 15% chance in the yellow, 30% chance, which again, you don't see too much on that day 3 severe thunderstorm outlook. You do have a 30% chance of severe weather through eastern North Carolina and eastern South Carolina. Now let's start looking at your models here, and this is your NAM 3KM model, and this is your simulated radar, and then we're going to go into your CAPE values. Now we do have some pretty nice supercells developing, and this would be by about Sunday morning or so. So this would be by tomorrow morning, and you're seeing we do have a little bit of severe weather action, and this is the area that they put that 10% risk of tornadoes, and that's why I think this is why they put it there. You do actually see this is just a model forecast, but this is indicating what the type of severe weather that you're going to look at, and you do actually see a little bit of hooking there. That would indicate a tornado. So you already see a couple of those just on model forecast. So definitely, I think you're gonna see at least a couple of tornadoes through southern and central Texas tomorrow, and then you start to see a little band pop up, and this would be by about Sunday, right around when you're waking up. Now let's move over to your southeast view of this, and again by about Sunday, this would be around. I'm adjusting this for Central Time, and this would be right around about. This would be I believe this would be right around 7 a.m. and now getting through 9 a.m. and then 10 a.m. You're seeing those thunderstorms start to roll through, and they're starting to really group together through areas into Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. I really think this area right through here is going to be where you're going to see the most severe weather action. That's where the National Weather Service is really indicating for that. You also see on your tornado parameter, you actually have some pretty high values through that area, and your supercell composite index, you actually have some pretty high high numbers through that region. So that's really indicating that that's going to be your real area for tornado and hail development through those regions. Now this would be up by Sunday night, and this would be right around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And as we get through around 4 p.m. And now moving to Eastern time, you're seeing about 5 p.m. now. They're starting to move a little bit further to the east. So let's start moving to this view here, and you see we do have, this would be by Monday early in the morning, probably right around midnight by this time, and you're seeing through the Ohio Valley, you're seeing some pretty good thunderstorms move through, and then I'll adjust this for Eastern time, and you're seeing right around Monday at 7 in the morning, you're starting to see a little bit of thunderstorms through Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. I really think that the National Weather Service has this slight risk a little bit too far to the north. They have it right around that, but I do think it's going to be a little bit further to the south. I really don't see the thunderstorms moving that far to the north as we get through Monday. This would be by Monday early in the morning, and now getting to Monday, right around 1 p.m., you're starting to see they're rolling through, and you don't have a lot of energy with these thunderstorms anymore. Now, let's start looking at your CAPE values, convective available potential energy, and this is indicating how much energy you have in the atmosphere, and this is really going to be important with your severe thunderstorm development. Now, you want above 1,000 CAPE to get some pretty good thunderstorms, and that's this lightest turquoise color here, and you see we actually have a lot of oranges, yellows, and reds, and that's indicating 2 to 4,000 CAPE, which is very high and definitely sufficient for some supercell development. And you see, you actually have some of those thunderstorms eating up that energy through the atmosphere, and that's indicating that you're going to have some pretty robust thunderstorms. That was 4,000 CAPE that those thunderstorms are using up to fuel the thunderstorms, and you start to see it kind of diminishes. But then, as we get into the daytime hours of Easter Sunday, you're seeing through eastern Texas CAPE values of 3 to 4,000, maybe even 4,500 CAPE values there through eastern Texas, western Louisiana, southern Arkansas, and this would be adjusting this for Central Time. This would be right around Sunday at about 3 or 4 p.m. Now, as we get through the later evening hours of Sunday, you're going to be seeing through southern Arkansas and northern Louisiana, you are seeing about 2 to 4,000 CAPE values, right around 2 to 3,500 CAPE values actually, and that's really a very high number for some severe thunderstorms, and definitely those thunderstorms are really going to have a lot of energy to work with, and that's why they're really going to be very strong. Now, this would be by Monday morning, and we're going to switch over to your southeast view here, and we do have some of those CAPE values starting to move east, but they really do die down as you get past about midnight on Monday, and then you're really just seeing CAPE values of about 1,000 to maybe 1,500 in some areas, and it really looks to ramp up through Georgia, and you start to see a little bit there through southern Alabama and into a bit of Florida there, of northwestern Florida, and you see that those CAPE values continue through the day on Monday to sustain fairly high. Now, your CAPE values for Monday afternoon in the Northeast and the Ohio Valley are going to be pretty limited. You're going to have, in the Northeast at least, or in the Mid-Atlantic, you're going to have pretty much just a straight line of thunderstorms, and that's actually what you had just a couple days ago in that area with your most recent severe weather threat for that area. So that is pretty much what you're going to see again. You can tell by the way that these CAPE values are setting up. It's along that cold front, and your cold front would be right around here, and that's what's providing all this energy for those severe thunderstorms to develop. Now, as we continue this, you see we're pretty limited to about 1,000 to maybe 1,250 CAPE for many of these regions, and a lot of those regions just getting up to maybe 750 or 500 CAPE, if that. So really, it's not going to be too big of a severe weather day as you get into the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. That's why I think that the Storm Prediction Center, with their forecast, bring a slight risk all the way through Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware. I don't really think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be too big of a severe weather day for those areas. Now, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications so you never miss a video when I do upload. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.